Well, good morning, friends. It's Vicki. I'm at the rental house. I did not get much gardening done the past couple of days. We actually are leaving for our trip this morning, and so I've been busy making sure we have everything we need for the wedding and packing everything, making all those arrangements. So anyway, I just wanted to show you these. My goodness, what are these called? I believe it's a yucca. I don't know much about this plant, but it is hardy down to zone 5. I've seen these growing in other areas nearby, and I've been wanting to put one of these in my yard eventually. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you what they look like in bloom. They're very pretty. I'm not sure how long the blooms last, so I don't know if they'll still be in bloom when we get back from our trip. So there we go. Other than that, let's check on this bed by the tree that I made. When I get back, I never did finish this. So when I get back, I'm going to have to readdress weeds again because I've already got grass and some weeds coming up. And then I want to put mulch down. But over here, the things that I planted, it appears something is eating this aster. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 asters, and all of them look like they're getting eaten. So I'm not really sure what's doing that, but hopefully there's enough that they just continue growing. I don't mind if they get nibbled on, but hopefully they can survive. These lilies here, this grassy looking texture, just to remind you, I think they're lilies anyway. I don't see any bloom stalks yet. Hopefully we'll be finding out soon what those are because those were already there. I did not put those there. But if they're pretty, I'll leave them. All of these hostas here I did put in. There's quite a bit of dieback on that one for some reason, but there is still a part of it that's looking decent. And then here's these two, a little bit of dieback too, but not too bad. I've been watering this and watering this. It makes me nervous because we're going to be gone for like 6 days. And because of, this being around a tree, which I'm sure soaks up as much water as it can, and also just being on this slope, like when it does rain, I imagine that it just runs off pretty quickly. So again, I don't know if this is actually going to work long term for this bed. I guess the next person who lives here will find out, but if they can get established and live here, great. We've got some hostas, we've got some ferns. The ferns still getting settled in. There is some dieback there. The lady ferns look like they're doing better than the Japanese ferns. I guess that would make sense because the lady ferns are native to this area, whereas the Japanese ferns are not. Over here, these were my seedlings, smooth blue aster. They do all look like they're alive and going to make it. So as rough as they look, I do think that these will probably pull through, assuming that we don't have 100-degree temps for days on end and I forget to get out here and water. But we're going to be gone for 6 days. I'll water this as soon as I get back, and hopefully it should be fine. And then I've got a couple more ferns back there along that tree. And then again, back here in the back, I did not finish that part yet. So that still needs to be de-weeded and have the landscape bedding pulled up, or the fabric barrier, I mean. And then I want to plant something behind that. So I don't know if I showed you this. I planted this little, it's a type of dogwood shrub. What's the name of it? Creme de Menthe dogwood. I was excited when I found that on clearance, and it kind of, I think, it mirrors that variegation in that hosta. And so my hope was that when this gets bigger, because it should get 4 to 5 feet tall, and it should also spread a little bit. It's going to sucker around the base, so it's going to take up some of this grassy area here as it grows. But it's also going to mirror the color of those hosta up there. I might even put some more hosta around that backside of that tree. My only concern was that once the sun gets up and over, this is the west, so the hottest part of the day's sun will be on this side of the tree over here. But anyway, I wanted to pull in that white and green variegation in both spots. I thought that would look cool. So that's what I ended up doing there. We're gonna skip by here because I need to turn the hose off. It's still spraying. So over here is my pink bed that I just watered. It's just basically a bunch of pelargonium type geraniums and some, what are they called? Pipsqueak? What's the real name? I forget what the real name is. I think it's too hot on this west side for these, this pipsqueak that I'm talking about, because I am getting some leaf burning. So when I get back, I might move this to my work garden. We'll see. I got plans for that plant if it makes it. And then over here, the yellow, orange, and purple garden is looking beautiful. The only thing in here that's looking a little bit rough are these nasturtiums that I transplanted from right up there where they were going in that pink bed. So I transplanted them down here because I think that they will look gorgeous growing in amongst all this other stuff down here. I'm excited for those to get established and kind of recover. I tried to cut back most of the dead leaves that were dying back and everything, but everything else looking just gorgeous, and hopefully it still looks pretty when we get back. I'm afraid we're going to miss the peak, but we've got, again, this is decorative cabbage with the yellow flowers on top. We have the false sunflower over here with its very pretty variegation. Probably should have put that on the front. Live and learn. Orange milkweed, which I don't see any butterflies, but there are lots of little flies enjoying it. I don't know if you can see those. Just a very, very beautiful flower. I'm going to be adding this to my other garden at the terrace house. This is my yarrow, the peach, I think it's called peach sky yarrow. More milkweed. This is the purple iris that's already gone by. Just repeating, more milkweed, more of the decorative cabbage. I have a coneflower in here, and it's one of those type that has like the red and orange, what do they call them? I always get it wrong. Cherokee, Apache, I'm not sure. It's a Native American name, and it is with that coneflower, so echinacea. My biggest butterfly weed, really, really beautiful. Again, flies seem to love this plant as well, not just monarchs. Got a Cosmo here. It's not blooming at the moment, but the flowers on that are kind of a purplish pink. This looks barren right now, but there's three, what are they called again? Nasturtiums planted here. So once those grow up, they should more than fill that spot. And then down here I've got some sedum. I have some, looks like, what is that called? The Daylily, Stella something, Daylily. This, I can't remember, is either like a blackberry or a raspberry or something that I bought. Again, it's just temporarily here. When I move back to the other house, I'll take that with me. And over here, I think that's a black-eyed Susan that I missed. I meant to transplant all of those back to my other house earlier this spring. I did transplant some others, and I think I missed that one, but that's okay because it goes with the color scheme of this bed. So I think I'll just leave that one there. I have some dahlias that I planted from seed. So there's one there. And then I've got more of them in this area. They're kind of like right along this iris. They're still somewhat small. See, there's one there. There's like two. There's a couple there. And one right here. Now this plant right here is Stand By Me clematis. I have a couple of these over at my other house. I want to add this to that clump. And then this right here looks like it's about to start opening its buds. I believe this is threadleaf coreopsis, so that'll be a yellow. Down here, I don't know if you guys remember this from earlier this spring. This was a primrose that has these really pretty flowers that are kind of a yellow with like an orangey red outer, and I had them in a different location and they kind of got fried, so I cut them back and I repositioned them over here, and they seem to be doing better, and they are starting to push out some new flowers. I just want those to live. I don't know if I'm going to take them with me or not because they're just perfect for this border, but hopefully they're in a good spot where they'll be happy, and I'll make that decision down the road. And then I have my rosemary that I planted out here. This is that shrub that I told you guys about earlier. It had white flowers. It was called Pearl Bush. It bloomed very early spring. It was very pretty. I am planning to leave that. And then right here I have a grouping of like 5 of these little, this is a different kind of, I think it's also called primrose, but it's, I'll put the name on the screen. It's a native in our area, whereas that orange and yellow one is not. That one I want to say is like Onathura or something. It has a weird name, but they get these pretty pink flowers, and it doesn't really go, I mean, with the color scheme of this bed. This is definitely something that I plan to move back to my other house. I know just where I want to put that. And then I've got some ham elm grasses. There's one here. There's one here. And then there's 2 over here. And I'm not going to mess with it right now, but I just missed that one that was kind of hiding. So I'm going to move that one probably when I get back and put it down there with that one so that I have 2 on each end. Just so that they're a little bit more mirrored. But other than that, this is what the orange and yellow bed is looking like right now. I think it's looking pretty nice. And hopefully when we get back, it looks even better. Now over here, I did not plan this out very well. Or I guess things did not go to plan, that's what I should say. This is that stuff that I dug out of this border to take to my work bed, or my work garden. And not this is my mom's lemon tree. So that stays with me forever. But this stuff right here, I dug this out to go to my work bed, along with this stuff here. And then we found out that we didn't have water. Well, they're installing a sprinkler system. But anyway, until that is installed, I don't have a good way to water everything in. So I have watered everything. It's along the north facing wall, so it's not directly in the sun. And I'm just hoping that all of this stuff will survive the week that I'm gone. And then once I am back, the sprinkler system should be installed at my work and I can start moving that stuff over there. So that is the plan. Hopefully everything works out, and I'll see you guys after my trip. Maybe I'll do some sort of on the road video or something like that. It'll be a surprise. We'll see. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.